I found that the best people in business, the best people in leadership study communication
Yeah.
heavily, right? And that was one of I think the only thing that I didn't like about the military leadership training I had, it lacked that. It was, I mean, it had some communication standards, but it was just, is not nearly enough, right? So I learned way more about the nuance of communication exiting the service than I did in the service. Like my NCO leadership training and stuff is like, it was more departmental bureaucracy, paperwork type leadership than it was like, and I'm sure at a certain level in the military, which I was only there for 6 years. So like,
Yeah.
I'm sure at a certain level it changes a bit, but what I experienced there was not really what I would define as leadership or communication training. It was like, here's a sexual harassment policy. Don't do that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Here's how to write someone up if they're wrong. Okay, great. It's just this punitive model, but it wasn't a let's learn the really deep skills of how to communicate better to make people feel heard and listened to and empowered and motivated. That's how we build teams. You
Yeah.
know, it's not by punishing people; it's by empowering people. And we don't make happy customers by running them through a process. Yeah, there's a process, but we make them feel happy about us because the process is invisible almost.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't feel like they're running through steps. It's just this natural thing, and they're heard and listened to all along the way. And I think that those kind of things are huge for me. I think that the more we pour into communication and leadership, the better we become, the bigger our teams get, the happier our customers get, et cetera.
Agreed. And I think on the leadership side, you know, and this is something that a lot of folks miss, is as a leader, it's your job to set clear expectations, for your
Mm-hmm.
customers, for your crews, for anybody that you hire on as a sales rep or an operations manager. You have to set clear expectations up front, even though some of those conversations are going to be difficult. Um, and I'll be honest, I don't do that great of a job in in my relationship. Sometimes, I think you pour all of it into business and professional world, and sometimes you miss the mark. And I made that comment just for my wife if she ever watches this. But setting clear expectations up front, empowering the team to go out and make decisions and allow them to make mistakes, but also to act as a guide and a mentor. And I equate it to the little guide rails that sometimes they put up for kids when they're bowling, where they can throw the
That's a
bowling
good
ball,
round.
and if the ball is going to
Mm-hmm.
go off, it just hits this rail and it bounces back. As leaders, we have to act as those guardrails sometimes. Yes, let them make a few mistakes, but if you see that things are on the path to derailing, you've got to provide immediate feedback, even if it's difficult to do,
Mm-hmm.
and really have those conversations. Hey, it seems like the thing that we're doing maybe isn't working out the best. What do you think would help make this better? What do you need from me in terms of support as your leader? Are you missing support? Are you missing education? Are you lacking a skill that we need to get you right? It's having all those things. And so I think in business, it's the same way. Set clear expectations for your team, but also set clear expectations for the customer, and then follow through with those expectations. And that doesn't just mean, hey, this is what I expect from you as your leader, or as this is what I expect from you as my customer, but also this is what you can expect from me throughout the process, or in our business relationship, or um, in the way that we run our company. And then you actually have to go act on those things and follow through, because setting expectations doesn't mean anything if at the end of the day you don't do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, I think that's a big lesson in leadership that one I've learned and had stumbles on it myself. But like it's really hard to hold someone accountable if you're not holding yourself accountable. You know
Agreed.
the 7 levels of leadership thing. Like it starts with self. You know, self leadership. If you can't make yourself disciplined enough to show up and do the things you say you're going to do, you definitely can't hold account other people to do the same. You know.
Yeah. And so I'll give you a short story on that specific topic within this business. Early on, when we brought on the crews that we have, one of the conversations that we had with them was, we're new in this space. We're learning systems and processes that we haven't necessarily used before, and so both of us have to be flexible as we go and communicate, things that could be done better or things that we see. And so, one of the complaints that I've heard from a lot of painters that I've talked to is they've worked with GCs or they've worked with other franchises, and there's no clear communication. Things are being done wrong. They're not open to feedback. They don't pay well. A lot of complaints, and a lot of them are very valid. And because I've got a leadership background, and I've done a lot of things and made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot, read a lot of books, and then taken action and tried those things and figured out what worked and what didn't work. I realized my teams need to understand that I'm there to support them, and that I'm open to their feedback if there is something that I'm doing that's not helping them succeed. Because if they don't succeed, we don't succeed, customer is not happy, right? And so, early on, the first conversation we had is, look, this is how we operate. This is how we expect you to operate. But within that space, if there are things that, could be done better, and you guys are the painting experts, right? We hire you because you know how to paint. Provide that feedback to us so that our relationship can grow and get better over time. And in turn, we provide a better service to our customers. And I think that's an extremely valuable conversation. And it's a reason that, our teams will work with us for years, is my expectation, because we have that mutual respect and mutual collaboration and conversation and communication to ensure that it's got to be a win-win for everyone, right? We have to win as a business, our painters have to win, and our customers have to win. And so where do we align those three to make sure that we're all winning?
Hey, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you're looking for help growing your contracting business, I invite you to join my free community. In there, we go live with amazing trainings, share resources and downloads, plus you get free help from me and from peers. That link is down below to join, and we'll see you in the next video.